My number 6, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Ooh.
I have that as number 5. So pretty
That's
close.
your mid tier. That's your mid. I mean, yeah, so you agree it's a mid. You agree it's a mid. Yeah. Okay. I'll just brief synopsis. This is the gay Nightmare on Elm Street movie. There's the whole plot. No, I'm kidding. The plot follows, so it's a direct sequel to number 1. No, it is. It is. A new family moves into Nancy's old house. At this point, Nancy, we don't actually know what happened to her. It's like rumors. All that exists is the ending of 1 is ambiguous. We don't actually know what happens to Nancy and her mom. We're not sure, but they're no longer there. And there's a new family that moves in, and it's a family. It's a husband and wife and a son and daughter. And the son is a teenager named
Mark?
No, that's the actor. That's the actor.
Mark Patton is the actor.
Yes, you got that.
Jesse.
Jesse, yes. Named Jesse. And Jesse moves in. He's new to the area. And Jesse it has trouble fitting in at school. He's a little bit of something different about Jesse. You know, he doesn't act like a lot of the other kids. And he's butting heads with his parents. And he's kind of like rebelling in weird ways. And bizarre things start happening in his home. Really weird supernatural shit. And he starts having nightmares about who else? Fred Krueger. And Freddy basically torments Jesse for half the movie and then starts kind of using Jesse to kill other people. Like he kind of possesses Jesse. Kind of. It's very confusing. And then this all culminates in a showdown between Jesse's girlfriend and Freddy Krueger. That's the basic plot overview. Let's handle the elephant in the room. This is the gay Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And that's one of the things when I was young, when I first watched it, it was one of those things that goes over your head.
I did not pick up on that when I was,
me
12,
neither.
13.
No, me neither. But I will say this. I remember always not really liking it. I remember always being like, yeah, 2 kind of sucks. But upon rewatching it now I've rewatched it. Like there's a really good documentary called Scream Queen. It's about Mark Patton and like the tragedy of what became of his career following this film, because he notoriously got outed as a homosexual in Hollywood, which pseudo got him blacklisted because of this movie. And there's a whole, watch that documentary. Honestly, I highly recommend it. Have you seen it?
No, I don't.
It's worth, did you know it existed?
I did. Yeah.
It's worth watching. It's worth watching.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting deep dive on 2. And I'll say this, the documentary is way more interesting than the actual film.
I tried to find it and I don't know where to get it.
I think it's better to watch. I think that's more fun to watch than 2 because now I'm watching 2 again. And again, it's a mid-tier pick. There's things that offend me way more. Now I'm going into it. I've seen the documentary, so I already know. Like I know about the homosexuality themes in this movie. I know about everything it has in the film, and that's not why I don't really like it. I don't really like it because it's not really interesting. So like, okay, it's got themes of sexuality and identity and coming out and all that's there, and that's cool. But it also isn't really a good movie. So I'm kind of like, it's just not very fun. I don't know. Like,
yeah. So of all of the movies that are in this series, this is the one that I struggled with the most. And I think there's elements of this movie that I really, really like. Like some of the elements of this movie are some of the best in the series for me. Unfortunately, there are some elements of this movie that are absolutely terrible. And when I really struggled with where I had this movie ranked, and eventually I think it's in a fitting spot. It's right dead center for me of the series. I probably have more to say about this one than any other one that we're going to talk about today.
Hey, by all means. I have some stuff written down, but for me, it's just, I'll let you go. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So first of all, just to address, again, like you said, when I watched this for the first time as a kid, I never picked up on the homosexual element of it. And now, years later, I'm like, okay, I see that.
Well, I mean, it's so not like you can't avoid it. Now you can't not see it. Even if you didn't know, it's so obvious in this movie.
Right. There are parts of that though that I think really help this movie. Like, for example, Jesse, I believe that he is truly terrified in this movie in a way that I don't believe any other character in this series. There are parts of his performance where he looks like he's legitimately afraid of what's happening to him. I really bought into his portrayal of this character, Mark Patton's portrayal, right? And that really kind of helped sort of pull me into this. There's a big joke about the fact that, he's just about to make out with his girlfriend, starts to see Freddy, and he runs away and he goes to spend the night with his best friend. When I was a kid watching that scene, I didn't laugh at that. That totally made sense to me. When I was a teenager, I wasn't spending Saturday nights partying with hot girls. I was watching shitty movies like this with my friends, right? Having sleepovers. So that wasn't something that jumped out at me. That was real, right? That made this movie a lot more believable for me. So I know that scene, that whole element gets a lot of flack, but for me, that really helped make this for me. I like that. And I thought that was a good element of this for me.
Okay, I want to interject there. Yeah. Let's talk about the obvious like gay imagery in the movie. Okay, so like there's tons of homosexual imagery and themes in the film. So I'm just going to go over like some obvious examples. At one point, Jesse wanders into an S&M bar. There's an S&M bar in the movie. It's a bizarre scene because he kind of just wanders in there. It's strange. The one kid, what the fuck's his name? Grady. Grady's like kind of the asshole friend. Grady, at one point, he makes a comment where he's like, I hear the coach is a pervert and he's into some S&M shit. That ends up being true because then Jesse runs into the coach at the S&M club. And then that leads to that weird death scene where the coach gets stripped naked and he's getting his bare ass like spanked raw. And I'm like, this is fucking weird.
He's getting hit by balls.
Yeah, like it's like, okay, that's odd. The infamous Jesse dance. So similar to the Crispin Glover dance from part 4, where like you can't, you know it, you've seen it. You know what I'm talking about, the Jesse dance.
I do.
Let's just cut to it right now.
So I'm going to defend this for a moment, surprisingly. Do you ever, you're driving in your car, you got the radio on, you're singing to the song?
Right.
Okay? You look like that. You don't think you do, and you don't think anyone's watching you, but when you are alone and you're doing something stupid like that, you look like Jesse. You don't look like Hollywood would project or would present you. That's actually what you look like. And I thought that scene, yes, you're right. It looks ridiculous, but that's the point. You're going to look completely ridiculous when you think no one's watching. You're not going to look like a hero. You're not going to look like you're Bob Fosse and you're some like dance. No, you're going to be an idiot. And I thought that was part of that realism of his presentation, his character. Then I'm like, yes, you're not doing what I would expect a Hollywood movie to do and present this guy like he's a superhero and he's like a super cool dancing guy. No, he's terrible at it. He's bumping the drawer with his ass.
Okay, but so that's my problem. It's like, I get what you're saying. You're saying like, yeah, you would look like a goofball. The thing is though, they shoot it that it's very clearly trying to like sexualize him. Like they zoom in on his ass and I'm like, why are you doing that? And then he's got like the pop and it's clearly like his cock and he's like pops the thing and he's like, woo. It's like, no, I think it was made. I know what you're saying and I'm saying, no, I think it was clearly intentionally made to look gay. I think that was the point. And okay, let's go past that. There's a shitload of dialogue in this movie that it very clearly was the subtext of the film is that it's like an allegory for somebody afraid to come out of the closet. And the screenwriter has already admitted that that was his intent. So that is there. There's tons of dialogue that references that Jesse is struggling with something. They never outwardly just say it, but 100% it's supposed to be he's struggling with his sexuality.
I have to work out on my own.
Yes, I know, but something's bothering you.
Mom.
We're just very concerned about you. Jesse!
I'm fine. Just leave me alone.
I wish you would talk to me. You know, we can figure it out. We can figure it out together.
There is nothing to figure out. He's inside me, and he wants to take me again.
And then, of course, there's the infamous, he freaks out after making out with his girlfriend, goes to his male friend's house, and immediately tries to get in bed with him. And he says, something is trying to get inside my body. Yeah. And there's lots of lines like this in the movie. And then Grady infamously says, you want to sleep with me?
Something is trying to get inside my body.
Yeah, and she's female and she's waiting for you in the cabana. And you want to sleep with me.
I mean, fuck. It's like, now you know, it's like bonk you over the head with
I don't
it,
think
right?
he was actually trying to get into bed with him. I think that...
No, but the implication is that
right.
he deep down he does want to get with Grady. He doesn't want to get with the girl, right? Like that's the subtext of the film, right? Is that he's struggling with his sexuality. That's why his parents they don't really know what's going on with him. And at one point he says like, "I need to figure this out on my own." Like he says something like that. There's just so much dialogue about that.
Yeah, and to be fair though, if and I agree with you that there's definitely a message there. They handled it a little bit better than Part 5 did, where they briefly touched on, pregnancy and pro-choice, pro-life issues for about 30 seconds. They actually kind of used the movie to do a good job with this. I think they did a better job of presenting the difficulty that this character is. Right?
I agree.
Right? They didn't just, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we just threw in a scene here and that it was totally controversial and then never referenced it again and provided no real detail. And no, like they used the movie to sort of tell that story.
Yep.
Right?
100% agree. I agree with you. They do a better job like actually utilizing their themes.
Right.
I 100% agree with you. So one of the things I like, they mix up the final girl, again, talking about like the gay theme here. Jesse is not a hero character. He's kind of like they make him out to be kind of a pussy boy. Like he's like that. That's the point.
He needs to be rescued.
Right.
Yep.
And they changed the final girl formula. It's not a final girl. It's a final boy in this. And it's actually his girlfriend that ends up saving him, Lisa. So Lisa actually has to save Jesse by the end of the movie. He's the hero that ends up saving him. And that is a stupid ending because I like that idea, but the ending is actually dumb because like it's very convoluted. Again, the Nightmare movies always have dumb endings because it's like, how do you stop someone that has infinite abilities? Do you remember how he died? Like how Freddy's defeated? It's so confusing.
I do. They're fighting on like the
platform.
The platform, and she has something, doesn't she?
She basically just like hugs Jesse,
okay.
And then like, but it's Freddy Krueger, and then basically Jesse is able to come out. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
He's able to come out of Freddy and be his true self, and it's love. That's what defeats Freddy. Basically, right. It's like Lisa's love for Jesse. It's a stupid ending, but I do like that they subverted that and made Lisa the protector of Jesse. And she even says, like at one point, I'm not going to let anything happen to you. Like they very much so are trying to establish that. And they make Jesse, like you said, he multiple times, he's frightened. He says, I'm scared. Like he acts like a terrified, like damsel in distress in this movie.
Oh my God. I'm so scared.
Jesse, what are you talking about?
And I kind of like that. It works, but the ending's stupid.
Well, the reason why the ending's stupid is because it's fine. Whoever your protagonist is going to be, they have to be weak, but then get strong and then overcome, defeat the evil and win. He doesn't do that. So is he the final girl for this movie or not? Because he's not the hero. She is. But she's not struggling. She doesn't have to get strong. Right? So you're kind of conflicted with who's my character here? Who am I? That's the reason why, Heather Langenkamp works, right? She starts off weak. She learns to fight back. She fights back and wins. Jesse, he's weak. He doesn't learn to fight back. He gets himself into a whole lot of trouble. And then the final girl has to come and rescue him, but she doesn't go through the journey to become the hero. So you're left at the end like, I'm missing something, right? There's something missing.
It's
right?
clunky. Yeah, the ending's clunky. And it's positives. There's some great special effects.
Incredible special effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It sounds like you already have one queued up.
I thought his Freddy's portrayal probably the best in the series.
A lot of people say this is the meanest, angriest looking Freddy in the series, and he looks like a menacing fuck in this for sure.
I don't know what the makeup or costuming of having characters come out of other characters.
Okay, so let's go through some of the best special effects. So, firstly, Freddy, the brain pull. That's such a cool shot where he just. Yeah, I love that shot where he reveals like this brain underneath his flesh. You're the body and I'm the brains. That's such a cool effect. Jesse's room at one point, because the big thing in the movie is like, because the idea is the boiler has come to life in the basement of Jesse's house and it's so hot. Jesse's room, the things in his room are melting. What a cool effect.
They pull it off. I feel like it actually looks...
All the practical shit in this movie is incredible. There's the human-faced dogs. What a creepy shot near the end. Remember that?
I didn't like that so much, but I'll give him credit for trying something weird.
Cool. I thought it looked cool. Yeah. I think the special effects are pretty top tier in this. I think they look really good.
The scene where Freddy comes out of Jesse.
Yes.
And basically just casts him off like a snakeskin. Oh, incredible.
I mean, that's the money shot of this movie.
Right.
That's like every time you see anything about this movie, it's always that shot of Freddy coming, like emerging from Jesse's body.
Yep.
And it's a horrifying effect, and it's done so well. Yeah. So, fantastic effects. Really good cinematography. The ending of this movie, while it is a convoluted mess, there's some great wide shots because it takes place at a power plant. That's they don't really add much to the lore. The only thing they really add is that turns out Fred Krueger, this is where he killed his victims. He took the children. He worked at a power plant, and the ending scene takes place at this power plant, and it's a really cool set piece for a final showdown. And they just bathe it in there's some great wide shots, and they bathe it with it's clearly a real physical place. Like, I don't think they visually enhanced it too much. And they bathe it in like green and red lighting, like the sweater colors, like Freddy's colors, right? Yep. And it's just so, it looks good. It's got good cinematography. Yeah. They just don't do much with that ending.
No,
the ending sucks. Another thing I want to gush about, my favorite scene in the whole movie. And a lot of people hate this scene, but I fucking love it.
Don't you say it.
The party scene.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the bird scene, but the party scene is almost as bad.
No, the party scene.
Party scene is, and I'm going to get to this when I get to
the party scene kicks so much dick. It's amazing. It's awesome.
There's dick involved.
So we have so the party scene is literally, and I love the way it's set up. So it's Lisa's house, I believe. It's her parents.
Right.
And they're having a pool party. And it starts off, and it's like, the parents are around, and the father's being hey, kids, don't you fool around too much. And everybody's kind of being all meek and quiet. And I think there's not even any music playing. It's just kind of whatever. And Lisa, like, the mom says, like, to Lisa, there's just some little interaction where she's like, don't worry, I'll take care of it. And God bless that woman. She takes her husband up to the bedroom to fuck him so that the kids can have their party.
None of this would ever happen, by the way.
I don't care. I love the way that plays out. It's so funny. I just love the idea of like, don't worry, honey, I'll take care of your dad so that you kids can have some fun. And I love the scene where they're waiting. All the kids are waiting because they've all been drinking like pop, eating chips, and not even doing anything. And they have like beer. The real party is waiting to start.
On the verge.
And they're literally waiting, and they're looking at the bedroom window, and they're waiting for the light to turn off, and it turns off, and they're all like, yeah. And literally somebody says, party time. And I'm like, yes. Parties aren't really like this, but goddamn, I wish they were, man. Kawa fucking bunga. And then I got to give credit. They immediately, the party comes to life, and all of a sudden the music kicks on out of the boombox, and credit where credit's due. Holy fuck, is this a catchy song? Whisper to a Scream by Bobby O. I'm going to play all 5 seconds of it right now so we don't get taken down. That's a good song. That's a banger. Yep. That is a banger song. What a great like 80s like fun party song to have in the background. What follows is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. So I don't even know what's going on in this scene. I couldn't answer it. And this is part of the problem of this movie is it's very convoluted of like Freddy needs Jesse to kill people, but then he's also trying to come out of Jesse to manifest. The whole thing I think is supposed to be Freddy's trying to manifest in the real world. And in this scene, he actually succeeds. It's very confusing.
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm assuming this is why you hate the scene.
So, I've talked a lot about why I like this movie, some of the good things. Unfortunately, there is one sort of cardinal sin of this movie that just ruins it for me, that really holds it back from being one of the best ones. And that is that
they break the rules.
Break every single rule.
Everything that was established.
And I know that it's only the second installment. So you might be, they hadn't really figured it out. No, they had, right? One of the good things about the original Nightmare on Elm Street is that Wes Craven does an excellent job of telling you exactly how this works, right?
Right.
You fall asleep, he kills you in your dreams. You may be able to grab a hold of him and bring him out and then fight him on your terms in the real world. But that's kind of how it works, right? I saw an interview with the director, Jack Shoulder, where he basically said, yeah, I didn't feel like I was obligated to stick to any of the rules.
I know exactly what you're talking
one.
about. Yep.
This movie, it's the worst. You can't take those established
elements. It's not a sequel. No.
Right. This movie feels like the director wanted to make a different movie, but no one would give him the opportunity to make the movie he wanted. So he just signed on to whatever project they were willing to take him for. And he was just like, I'm going to make my own movie about a boy who struggles with his sexuality. And if I have to wrap it in A Nightmare on Elm Street, then that's just what I'm going to do.
Then fuck you, I'm going to do it.
And everything screams to that, right? The fact that like the reason why you're confused about that party scene is because, the whole point is that, suddenly Freddy can possess you, and then now he can basically use you like a puppet in the real world and kill people.
Well, and then so Freddy manifests, but he shows up, but he's got powers in the real world.
Right.
Like he like teleports and he turns into fire. He manifests fire. It's like, what is going on? And I love that scene for how stupid it is. I love the fact that it's so goofy. Freddy just starts, it's just so shot so stupid. He just starts slashing people, and it's like so like it's just like there's no good choreography, there's no good cinematography. It's like a wide shot, and it's just Freddy being like, bah! And just like slashing everybody randomly, and it's so fucking stupid.
So I'm gonna allude to something here. We're gonna talk about this again.
This specific shot.
That's right.
Okay. And then and then my favorite moment is like so everybody's freaking out and running every which way, and all the kids huddle in the corner, and Freddy walks up to them. He's all menacing, and do you remember what happens?
No.
The one doofus walks up. There's one doofus, and he tries to talk Freddy down. Who at this point, none of the kids would even know who he is. They would just be like, this is some supernatural. Like, that's a problem with the movie, is the movie is basically self-contained within like 3 or 4 kids. Like, Freddy doesn't really go after the Elm Street kids per se in this. It's very like, so No one really knows. So for all they know, some jackass in a sweater and a bladed gloves just started slashing people at their party. They don't know what's going on. And this doofus walks up, tries to talk Freddy down. And Freddy just, I think he says like, let us know how we can help you or something. And Freddy's like, help yourself, fucker, and just kills the guy. It's so fucking stupid.
Just tell us what you want, all right? Yeah, I'm here to help you.
Help yourself, fucker!
Yeah, I love it for how bad it is. It's stupid. It's stupid.
Like, the vast majority of the kills in this movie come from that scene.
Oh,
and
the kill!
They are
there's almost
all meaningless.
Yeah, I know. This says one of the lowest kill counts in the whole franchise because the coach and Grady, and I think that's it.
The first kill, I think, 39 minutes in.
Yeah, and that's the coach. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Oh, the kill count. There's no real creative kills in this. Yeah. No.
So yeah, I unfortunately
it's bad. It's bad.
That is when you take the rules, the mythology, the lore that is the reason why you are getting the opportunity to make this movie to begin with, because the first one was successful. When you take that and just throw it out the window, that's unforgivable. So I at one point when I was doing my rankings, I had this down like bottom 2, but I'm like, nope, let's give it a fair shake. There are some good things about this, but unfortunately, that just I have no patience for that. It's
very much a middle pick for me.
Yep.
I've got nothing else to say about
Yep.
it. Like, there's not much else for me to.
No.
Yeah. It's just kind of whatever. Yeah. This podcast is sponsored by the fine folks at Fly By Night Movies, Games, and Toys. Fly By Night Movies, Games, and Toys is your one-stop shop for everything cool and collectible. We are located in the heart of downtown Oshawa. That is Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. If you're looking for movies, video games, and toys, check us out. We are worth the drive. Okay, and we're back. We just took a quick piss break. We were talking about Elm Street 2. That was what we were on. That was my
number
next,
6.
That was my number 6. One thing I forgot to mention, I realized while I was taking a piss. I remember I said I watched these movies out of order. I started with 2. What a fucking bizarre pick to start with. And I think I think it came across as like, I was being very negative on the movie. It is a mid-tier pick for me. But one of the things I really don't like about it, and you touched on this about like the director not giving a shit about anything previously established, is watching 2 again. It's so disjointed. It's so disconnected from the entire franchise.
Right.
Like I watched 2, and then I watched 1, and I was like, well, these aren't really connected at all. Other than like at one point, one of the things I did like in the movie is that they connected to the first one in that it's the same house, right? And Jesse finds Nancy's diary. And that's kind of a cool moment where they start, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. It's on the top shelf and they find it when they're
and they actually start reading it, and you kind of get a little bit into the psyche of Nancy during the first movie, because you think like, fuck, Jesse has it rough. Nancy had it fucking rough in the first movie too. So I like that connection. But like that's the only real connection. After that, it's like fuck. I mean, they don't reference anything. And another thing I forgot to bring up, there's a I don't like that it doesn't feel like it's a part of the franchise. It doesn't want to be a part of the franchise. You can watch this on its own. I mean, like fuck, you don't even really need much knowledge of the first movie in a sense. One of the infamous continuity errors that I forgot to bring this up, that people think is a mistake.
Okay.
Have you heard of the 2-glove theory?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, in Nightmare on Elm Street 1, the big reveal by Nancy's mom is that she kept Fred Krueger's claw glove, this glove right here, this exact one. This is the one from the movie. She kept the claw glove after they burned him alive. She took it out of the ashes or whatever. And she's been keeping it in the boiler of the Thompson house. In the first movie, near the end of the movie, Nancy goes to the boiler and the glove is missing. Do you remember that?
I don't.
It's a little detail.
Yeah.
It's a little detail. It's right near the end. Like
intentionally. Like this isn't like a
No,
a
no,
miss.
it's in the like the movie.
Right,
Like
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
it's not
right,
a,
yeah.
it's not a mistake.
Right.
Literally, Nancy's mom shows her the glove and then she puts it back, presumably. Nancy at the end of the movie,
Right.
when she's like Freddy's preying on her, like this is now the movie's ramped up to 100. Nancy goes back to the boiler and there's no glove in the boiler. So Freddy Krueger has taken his glove back. That's the implication here. In this movie, Jesse finds that very glove in the boiler.
the boiler.
And because Freddy leads him to it. And that's part of like the connection is like, you now have my real world glove. And that somehow psychically links us, you know, me from the dream world into your reality. How was the glove still in the boiler, even though it was missing at the end of part 1?
It's because 2 is just bad.
Yeah. So the 2 glove theory is that the original glove never actually left the boiler, that Nancy was dreaming. So she only dreamed that the glove was missing from the boiler. So it was actually, in fact, are always there. But this is, in fact, a big continuity thing that people bring up. Yeah. It's one of those things that like nerds debate about.
All right. I mean, I can buy that retcon. It's not too that's not too insane.
No, it's just kind of one of those funny things that I caught it and I actually had to look it up because I went, hey, wait a minute. I thought, because I caught it because I watched 2 and then I watched 1 and literally the ending, Nancy's trying to look for it and there's no glove. And I thought, wait a minute, how the fuck did Jesse get the glove if Nancy couldn't find it? It suddenly appeared back? But I mean, the ending of 1. But